The alarm clock's shrill cry pierced the quiet of our small apartment, and another day threatened to break my spirit before it even began. My name is Paula, and survival isn't just a word, it's the breath that fills my lungs and the blood that pumps through my veins. 7 years passed since I lost my husband, Mike, in a motorcycle accident that shattered my world into a million razor-sharp pieces. Now, at 38, I'm nothing more than a single mother with calloused hands and a heart that refused to give up. Adam, my 12-year-old son, is my entire universe. Every morning, would watch him meticulously prepare for school, his uniform pressed and his backpack neatly packed like a miniature promise of hope. "I'll take care of you when I become a big man, Mom," he would say, his eyes bright with determination. Those words were the only currency that kept me going. My job as a cleaner was more than just work, it was my lifeline. Mr. Clinton, the company owner, probably never knew how each paycheck was a carefully constructed bridge between survival and desperation. I scrubbed floors, wiped windows, and made sure everything was spotless, knowing that my diligence was the only safety net my son and I had. When Adam burst into the kitchen one evening, his face animated with excitement, I knew something was different. "Mom," he chirped, his voice trembling with hope and nervousness, "my classmate Simon invited me to his birthday party next week." Simon was the son of my boss. He lived in a world so different from ours that it might as well have been another planet where money could buy anything other than love. I hesitated because rich kids and fancy parties were landscapes where we didn't belong. But the hope in my son's eyes was a treasure more precious than any paycheck. "Are you sure you want to go, sweetie?" I asked, my voice soft, carrying the weight of 1,000 unspoken fears. "Yes." The week leading up to Simon's party was a delicate dance of preparation and worry. Our budget was tight. It had always been tight. But I was determined Adam would look presentable. The next afternoon, we made our way to the local thrift store, our ritual of finding dignity in secondhand treasures. "This shirt looks nice," Adam said, holding up a blue button-down that was slightly too big but clean and well-maintained. I ran my fingers over the fabric, calculating. Every dollar mattered. "It'll do," I smiled, hoping he couldn't see the uncertainty in my eyes. "We'll fold the sleeves, and it'll look perfect." That evening, I ironed the shirt with precision, each crease a testament to my love. Adam watched me, his excitement bubbling. "The other kids will have new clothes," he said quietly, a hint of vulnerability breaking through his usual confidence. I cupped his face. "You'll be the most adorable person there because of who you are, not what you wear." "Promise?" "Promise, honey," I whispered, knowing the world was rarely that kind. As I helped him dress on the day of the party, my heart raced with a mother's protective instinct. Something felt off, like a premonition dancing at the edges of my consciousness. But Adam looked so handsome and hopeful. He couldn't stop talking about the party all morning. His eyes sparkled with an excitement I hadn't seen in days. "Simon's dad owns the biggest company in town, and I can't believe you actually work there," he explained, his voice brimming with awe and hope. "They have a swimming pool, and he said there'll be video games, and a magician, and..." His words tumbled out like a waterfall of anticipation. I dropped him off, watching him walk up to the massive house. It looked like a world so different from our modest cottage. His shoulders were straight, his second-hand shirt pressed carefully, and hope radiated from every step. "Have fun, sweetie," I said, straightening his collar. "And remember, you are worthy. Always." "Bye, Mom." "Bye, sweetie," I called back, watching him climb the steps and disappear behind the big double doors. At 5 o'clock, I arrived to pick him up. The moment Adam slid into the car, something was wrong. Terribly wrong. His eyes were red, and his body was compressed into itself like a wounded animal. Silence hung between us like a heavy, suffocating blanket as I drove us home. "Baby?" I touched his shoulder. "What happened?" He remained silent. "Adam, talk to me," I pressed, my voice breaking as we reached our gate. Every mother knows that silence, the kind that screams of hurt too deep for words. Finally, he turned to face me as tears streamed down his cheeks. They made fun of me, Mom, he whispered, his voice cracking. They said I was just like you. A cleaner. My world stopped. They gave me a mop, he continued, his small hands trembling. Simon's dad laughed. He said I should practice cleaning, that one day I would replace you at his company. He swallowed hard. And then Simon said, "See? Told you poor kids come with built-in job training." His voice cracked on the last word, and he looked down at his shoes like saying it out loud made it hurt all over again. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white. The mother's rage and a worker's dignity inside me rose. "Tell me everything," I pressed. And he did. They had these party games, he confessed, staring out the window. One of them was Dress the Worker. They handed me a janitor's vest and said I had to wear it because I was the only one who knew how to clean. He paused, then added, "They all laughed when I put it on." I thought it was just part of the game, but then one of the girls whispered, "Bet he's done this before." My chest tightened as Adam kept going. Later, they served cake on these fancy plates, but they gave me a plastic one, and no fork. Said that's how poor folks like us eat. Then Simon told everyone not to let me touch the furniture because I'd leave dirty stains on it. He looked up at me, eyes glassy and red. I didn't even want the cake after that, Mom. I just wanted to leave. You were right about them. So right. I stared straight ahead, my jaw clenched so tight it hurt. They didn't just mock my son. They tried to humiliate him into believing he didn't belong. I didn't even think. I raced back to Simon's house. Adam begged me to stop, but I was too furious to listen. Upon arriving, I flung the door open, my heart pounding and anger boiling under my skin like it had a heartbeat of its own. Adam reached for me, his fingers curling around my arm. "Mom, please don't." But I was beyond listening. The massive oak door seemed to mock me like a symbol of privilege and cruelty. I rang the doorbell, my hands steady despite the storm brewing inside me. Mr. Clinton answered, but before he could speak, I unleashed everything. "How dare you humiliate my son?" His condescending smile froze me. "Paula, I think it's best you leave." "Leave? You think you can humiliate my son and still speak to me like I work for you even after hours?" I jabbed a finger toward the house. "You stood there and laughed while a bunch of spoiled brats treated him like dirt. You let them hand him a mop like it was some joke. Like my work is a punchline." His smile dropped. "Let me be clear, sir," I snapped. "You may sign my paychecks, but you don't get to teach your kid that he's better than mine only because he's rich. You don't get to raise a bully and act surprised when someone calls it out. So no, Mr. Clinton. I won't leave." I took a deep, shaky breath. "You should be the one ashamed to be standing here, you know? Consider yourself fired," Mr. Clinton snapped. "We can't have employees who can't control themselves from causing scenes." I stood there, stunned. My job, the one that kept our lights on, paid for Adam's school fees, and kept gas in our beat-up car, was gone. Just like that, like it meant nothing. Adam stood behind me, tears dried but eyes wide with fear and confusion. As the door closed in my face, I realized this was far from over. The next morning, I didn't set an alarm. Adam stayed home from school. We ate cereal and sat in silence. By noon, I scanned job boards online, updated my half-dead resume, and pretended like I didn't feel like someone had ripped the floor from under me. The apartment was dead quiet, like it held its breath with me. I stared at the wall, the weight of everything pressing down. I had no job, no backup plan, and no idea how I was going to keep us afloat. I was trying to be strong for Adam, but inside, I felt like I was falling apart. What now? What was I supposed to do, when everything we depended on just disappeared overnight? I sat at our small kitchen table, laptop open, scrolling through job listings with trembling fingers. Each click felt like another nail in our financial coffin. Then, the phone rang. I expected debt collectors and bill reminders, just another punch from a world that seemed determined to knock us down. Instead, it was my boss. "Paula," he said, his voice softer and uncertain. "Come to the office." I almost laughed. "I'm fired, remember? Just, come, please." "Why? Why, Mr. Clinton? Did someone forget to flush the toilet? Or did someone drop tea on your pristine floor?" Listen, I owe you an apology. A real one." I raised my eyebrows. "Why the change of heart?" He sighed. "The staff, they found out. Someone's kid goes to the same school. Word about the party got around fast. They threatened to walk out. Every last one. Said they won't come back until you do." I blinked. "You're kidding." "I'm not. They're calling it a strike. Even the accounting team's in on it." I held the phone to my chest for a second. My heart ached, but this time, in a good way. "Paula, I'm asking, please come back." I took a deep breath. "You're asking, but are you listening?" Silence hung between us. I continued, "You think being rich makes you above decency. But money doesn't raise the character, Mr. Clinton. It just amplifies what's already there." He was quiet. "I'll come back," I said, "but don't expect silence next time." "You have my word," he said softly as I hung up. When I walked back into the office, something felt different. The entire staff stood like a wall of quiet solidarity. Maria from accounting, Jack from sales, everyone was there, waiting. They all rose in unison for me, a cleaner. "We heard what happened," Maria said, stepping forward. "What they did to you and Adam was unacceptable. The entire team," Jack added, "refused to work until you're reinstated and an apology is made." Tears welled up. Not from defeat but from an unexpected kindness that cut through all the cruelty we'd experienced. Sometimes, humanity arrives when you least expect it. Mr. Clinton cleared his throat, stepping forward in front of the entire staff. His face was ashen, the confidence from before completely stripped away. "Paula," he began, "I want to apologize. Not just to you, but to your son. What happened at my son's party was unacceptable. I failed as a father, as an employer, and as a human being." He turned to face the room. "I allowed my son to believe that a person's worth is determined by their job or their bank account. I watched him humiliate a child and I did nothing. I stood silent, my eyes piercing through him. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice cracking. "Truly sorry, Paula." I stepped forward, my voice calm but razor sharp. "Money doesn't make a man, Mr. Clinton. Character does. And character isn't bought, it's built, one decision at a time." The room fell silent. Every employee watched, holding their breath. A small smile played on my lips as I grabbed my cleaning supplies and got back to work. Justice has a beautiful way of evening the score. Sometimes, the universe has a sense of humor far more poetic than any paycheck could buy, and this was one of them. Write in the comments what would you have done and subscribe to our channel D-Damn Mix.